7. From the 8 trigrams brazier the great sage escapes. Beneath the 5 phases mountain, mind monkey is still. Fame and fortune, all predestined. One must ever shun a guileful heart. Rectitude and truth, the fruits of virtue, grow both long and deep. A little presumption brings on heaven's wrath. Though yet unseen, it will surely come in time. Ask the Lord of the East for why such pains and perils now appear. Because pride has sought to scale the limits, ignoring hierarchy to flout the law. We were telling you about the great sage, equal to heaven, who was taken by the celestial guardians to the monster execution block, where he was bound to the monster subduing pillar. They then slashed him with a scimitar, hewed him with an axe, stabbed him with a spear, and hacked him with a sword, but they could not hurt his body in any way. Next, the star spirit of the South Pole ordered the various deities of the fire department to burn him with fire, but that, too, had little effect. The gods of the thunder department were then ordered to strike him with thunderbolts, but not a single one of his hairs was destroyed. The demon king Mahabali and the others therefore went back to report to the throne, saying, "Your Majesty, we don't know where this great sage has acquired such power to protect his body. Your subjects slashed him with a scimitar and hewed him with an axe. We also struck him with thunder and burned him with fire. Not a single one of his hairs was destroyed. What shall we do?" When the Jade Emperor heard these words, he said, "What indeed can we do to a fellow like that, a creature of that sort?" Laozi then came forward and said, "That monkey ate the immortal peaches and drank the imperial wine. Moreover, he stole the divine elixir, and ate 5 gourdfuls of it, both raw and cooked. All this was probably refined in his stomach by the samadhi fire to form a single solid mass. The union with his constitution gave him a diamond body, which cannot be quickly destroyed. It would be better, therefore, if this Taoist takes him away and places him in the brazier of 8 trigrams, where he will be smelted by high and low heat. When he is finally separated from my elixir, his body will certainly be reduced to ashes." When the Jade Emperor heard these words, he told the 6 gods of darkness and the 6 gods of light to release the prisoner and hand him over to Laozi, who left in obedience to the divine decree. Meanwhile, the illustrious sage Erlang was rewarded with 100 gold blossoms, 100 bottles of imperial wine, 100 pellets of elixir, together with rare treasures, lustrous pearls, and brocades, which he was told to share with his brothers. After expressing his gratitude, the immortal master returned to the mouth of the river of libations, and for the time being, we shall speak of him no further. Arriving at the Tushita palace, Laozi loosened the ropes on the great sage, pulled out the weapon from his breastbone, and pushed him into the brazier of 8 trigrams. He then ordered the Taoist who watched over the brazier and the page boy in charge of the fire to blow up a strong flame for the smelting process. The brazier, you see, was of 8 compartments corresponding to the 8 trigrams of Qian, Can, Zhen, Zhen, Xin, Li, Kun, and Doi. The great sage crawled into the space beneath the compartment that corresponded to the Shun trigram. Now Shun symbolizes wind. Where there is wind, there is no fire. However, wind could churn up smoke, which at that moment reddened his eyes, giving them a permanently inflamed condition. Hence they were sometimes called fiery eyes and diamond pupils. Truly time passed swiftly, and the 49th day arrived imperceptibly. The alchemical process of Laozi was perfected, and on that day he came to open the brazier to take out his elixir. The great sage at the time was covering his eyes with both hands, rubbing his face and shedding tears. He heard noises on top of the brazier and, opening his eyes, suddenly saw light. Unable to restrain himself, he leapt out of the brazier and kicked it over with a loud crash. He began to walk straight out of the room, while a group of startled fire tenders and guardians tried desperately to grab hold of him. Every one of them was overthrown. He was as wild as a white-browed tiger in a fit, a one-horned dragon with a fever. Laozi rushed up to clutch at him, only to be greeted by such a violent shove that he fell head over heels while the great sage escaped. Whipping the compliant rod out from his ear, He waved it once in the wind and it had the thickness of a rice bowl. Holding it in his hands, without regard for good or ill, he once more careened through the heavenly palace, fighting so fiercely that the 9 luminaries all shut themselves in and the 4 Devarajas disappeared from sight. Dear monkey monster. Here is a testimonial poem for him. The poem says, "This cosmic being fully fused with nature's gifts, passes with ease through 10,000 toils and tests, vast and motionless like the one great void. Perfect, quiescent, he's named the primal depth. Long refined in the brazier, he's no mercury or lead. Just the very immortal, living above all things. Forever transforming, he changes still. 3 refuges and 5 commandments he all rejects." Here is another poem. A spirit beam filling the supreme void. That's how the rod behaves accordingly. It lengthens or shortens as one would wish. Upright or prone, it grows or shrinks at will. And another. An ape's body of Tao weds the human mind. Mind is a monkey, this meaning's profound. The great sage, equal to heaven, is no false thought. How could the post of Banhorse justly show his gifts? Horse works with monkey. Means both mind and will. Need binding firmly. Don't seek them outside. All things back to Nirva a follow one, truth. To join Tathagata beneath twin trees. This time our monkey king had no respect for persons great or small. He lashed out this way and that with his iron rod, and not a single deity could withstand him. He fought all the way into the Hall of Perfect Light, and was approaching the Hall of Divine Mists, where fortunately numinous Officer Wang, aide to the immortal master of adjuvant holiness, was on duty. He saw the great sage advancing recklessly and went forward to bar his way, holding high his golden whip. "Wanton monkey!" he cried. "Where are you going? I am here, so don't you dare be insolent." The great sage did not wait for further utterance. He raised his rod and struck at once, while numinous officer met him also with brandished whip. The 2 of them charged into each other in front of the Hall of Divine Mists. What a fight that was between! A red-blooded patriot of ample fame, and a heaven's rebel with notorious name. The saint and sinner gladly tangle close, so that 2 brave fighters can test their skills. Though the rod is fierce, and the whip is fleet, how can the upright and just one forbear? This one is a supreme god of judgment with thunderous voice. The other, the great sage, equal to heaven, a monstrous ape. The golden whip and the iron rod used by the 2 are both divine weapons from the house of God. At Divine Mist's treasure hall they show their might today, each displaying his prowess winningly. This one brashly seeks to take the Big Dipper Palace. The other with all his strength defends the sacred realm. In bitter strife relentless they show their power. Moving back and forth, whip or rod has yet to score. The 2 of them fought for some time, and neither victory nor defeat could yet be determined. The immortal master of adjuvant holiness, however, had already sent word to the Thunder Department, and 36 thunder deities were summoned to the scene. They surrounded the great sage and plunged into a fierce battle. The great sage was not in the least intimidated. Wielding his compliant rod, he parried left and right and met his attackers to the front and to the rear. In a moment he saw that the scimitars, lances, swords, halberds, whips, maces, hammers, axes, gilt bludgeons, sickles, and spades of the thunder deities were coming thick and fast. So with one shake of his body he changed into a creature with 6 arms and 3 heads. One wave of the compliant rod and it turned into 3. His 6 arms wielded the 3 rods like a spinning wheel, whirling and dancing in their midst. The various thunder deities could not approach him at all. Truly his form was tumbling round and round, bright and luminous. A form everlasting, how imitated by men. He cannot be burned by fire. Can he ever be drowned in water? A lustrous pearl of Mani he is indeed. Immune to all the spears and the swords. He could be good. He could be bad. Present good and evil he could do at will. He'd be an immortal, a Buddha, if he's good. Wickedness would cloak him with hair and horn. Endlessly changing he runs amok in heaven. Not to be seized by fighting lords or thunder gods. At the time, the various deities had the great sage surrounded, but they could not close in on him. All the hustle and bustle soon disturbed the Jade Emperor, who at once sent the wandering Minister of Inspection and the immortal Master of Blessed Wings to go to the western region and invite the aged Buddha to come and subdue the monster. The two sages received the decree and went straight to the Spirit Mountain. After they had greeted the 4 Vara Buddhas and the 8 Bodhisattvas in front of the treasure temple of Thunderclap, they asked them to announce their arrival. The deities therefore went before the treasure lotus platform and made their report. Tathagata at once invited them to appear before him, and the two sages made obeisance to the Buddha 3 times before standing in attendance beneath the platform. Tathagata asked, "What causes the Jade Emperor to trouble the two sages to come here?" The two sages explained as follows. Some time ago, there was born on the Flower Fruit Mountain a monkey who exercised his magic powers and gathered to himself a troop of monkeys to disturb the world.